Hi, I'm Ivory. I've spent 28 years living in my sister's shadow, and tonight was supposed to be different. I stood in front of the mirror, smoothing down my navy blue dress, the one I'd saved 3 paychecks to buy, the one Zoe had assured me looked amazing. You're overthinking again, Zoe said, leaning against my bedroom doorframe. It's just an engagement party. It's never just anything with Vanessa. You know that. Zoe rolled her eyes. Your sister isn't the queen of the universe, even if your parents treat her like it. The thing about Vanessa is that she's always been the golden child. Straight A student, homecoming queen, and now successful marketing executive engaged to Mr. Perfect. Meanwhile, I've always been the awkward younger sister who couldn't quite measure up. Did you meet her fiancé yet? Zoe asked. Derek, briefly. He's charming, I guess. Kind of hard to get a read on him. We arrived at my parents' house, transformed for the occasion with twinkle lights and champagne flutes. Mom rushed over immediately, inspecting my outfit. Oh, Ivory, couldn't you have worn something more festive? Vanessa's friends are all here. Classic Eleanor Johnson, always concerned with appearances. You look beautiful, honey, Dad said, giving me a quick side hug before being pulled away by Mom to greet more important guests. Richard and Eleanor Johnson, parents extraordinaire, as long as you're their firstborn daughter. I spotted Vanessa across the room, radiant in a cream-colored dress, clinging to Derek's arm. He was tall, with that perfect smile that belonged in toothpaste commercials. There's my baby sister, Vanessa called out, waving me over. Her voice had that familiar edge, sweet on the surface, razor-sharp underneath. Congratulations, I said, forcing a smile. Derek, this is Ivory, my little sister I told you about. Derek extended his hand. Nice to finally meet you properly. Vanessa talks about you all the time. All good things, I hope. I laughed nervously. Vanessa smiled tightly. Of course, I always tell Derek how unique you are. The party progressed, and I stuck close to Zoe, who kept refilling my champagne glass. Then came the toasts. After Dad's emotional speech, Vanessa grabbed the microphone. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, especially my sister Ivory. She's always been so supportive. She paused, smile widening. Even showed up in her funeral dress. Always the dramatic one, right, sis? The room tittered with laughter. But seriously, not everyone can pull off looking like that. Ivory's always been brave with her choices. It's why we love her. More laughter. My face burned. Poor thing never had my luck with looks or men. But who knows? Maybe one day she'll find someone who appreciates alternative beauty. I felt Zoe's hand tighten on my arm. Mom and Dad were laughing along with everyone else. I need some air, I whispered, pushing through the crowd. Outside, tears stung my eyes. 28 years of this. 28 years of being the punchline. Ivory, you okay? Zoe had followed me out. I'm done. This is the last time she humiliates me. What are you going to do? I wiped my tears, straightening my shoulders. I don't know yet, but Vanessa's finally going to learn that some people aren't doormats forever. The next morning, my phone buzzed with texts from Vanessa asking why I'd left her special night early. I tossed it aside and buried my face in my pillow. Rise and shine, Revenge Queen, Zoe barged in with coffee. I've got something that might interest you. Unless it's a time machine to erase last night, I'm not interested. Better, I've got dirt on Mr. Perfect. I sat up, suddenly alert. What kind of dirt? Remember my cousin who works at that tech startup? Turns out he knows Derek's former roommate. Guy named Cameron. Says Cameron's been trying to warn people about Derek for months. Warn people about what? That's the thing. He's being super cryptic. But he agreed to meet us for lunch. 2 hours later, we were sitting across from Cameron at a corner booth in a dingy diner. He was fidgety, constantly checking his phone. Look, I wouldn't normally do this, but Derek screwed over a lot of people, including me. How so? I leaned forward. We roomed together for 2 years. Guy has secrets, big ones, started noticing weird stuff. Phone calls he'd take outside, weekend trips he'd never explain, cash he couldn't account for. Maybe he's just private, I said, skeptical. Private is one thing. Having two separate phones and a storage unit he thinks I don't know about is another. Zoe whistled. Storage unit? Like a serial killer? Not helping Zoe, I muttered. Cameron slid a piece of paper across the table. This is the address. I followed him once. Never went inside, but he goes there at least twice a month. Always looked nervous. Why are you telling me this? Because I tried warning his last girlfriend. She didn't listen either. Before I could dig deeper, my phone rang. Vanessa. I should take this. I stepped outside. Hey, Vanessa. Finally! What's your problem? You embarrassed me last night. I embarrassed you? You called me ugly in front of everyone. Oh, please, it was a joke. Not my fault you're so sensitive. Mom and Dad are upset with you, too. Of course they are. Heaven forbid anyone call out the golden child. Whatever. Look, I need you to come to the dress fitting next week. Mom insists. Vanessa, we need to talk about how you treat me. Can't talk now. Derek's calling. Don't forget, Tuesday, 3 o'clock, Bridal Dreams Boutique. Wear something that won't clash with the bridesmaids' dresses. Bye. I returned to the table, fuming. Family drama? Cameron asked. You could say that. So this storage unit? You really think Derek's hiding something serious? Serious enough that you might want to warn your sister. Over the next week, Cameron and I staked out the storage facility. On the third day, we spotted Derek entering Unit 217. Now what? I whispered from our car across the street. Now we find out what's inside. Cameron had a friend who worked at the facility. One fake maintenance call later, we had access. What we found made my blood run cold. Photos, documents, a separate cell phone, and a framed picture of Derek with his arm around another woman. The date stamp read just 2 weeks ago. Holy shit, Cameron muttered. I picked up a lease agreement, different name, same face, and a wedding invitation, dated for 3 months after Vanessa's wedding. He's engaged to 2 women at once, I breathed. Derek is living a complete double life. We need to document everything, I said, pulling out my phone. I started snapping pictures while Cameron gathered papers. Look at this. Cameron held up a credit card statement. He's been buying identical gifts for both women. Same necklace from Tiffany's last month. Vanessa wouldn't shut up about that necklace. Called it unique and specially designed. I rifled through a stack of papers. Who's Natalie Winters? Must be fiancé number 2. There's her number. I hesitated, then saved it to my contacts. We need to put everything back exactly how we found it. Later that night, I called the number. Hello? A woman's voice answered. Is this Natalie? You don't know me, but we need to talk about Derek Thompson. Silence. Then, who is this? My name's Ivory. My sister Vanessa is engaged to Derek, or at least she thinks she is. What are you talking about? I know about the second engagement, your engagement, the storage unit, everything. This isn't funny. Derek warned me his ex was crazy, but I have pictures. The lease agreement with both your names, the wedding invitation for December 18th. A sharp intake of breath. That's impossible. We're getting married on December 18th. Yeah, my sister's wedding is September 5th. We agreed to meet the next day. Natalie was tall, elegant, and clearly devastated. I've been with Derek for 3 years, she said, hands shaking as she examined my evidence. We were keeping our engagement quiet because of his job. What job? He's in private security. Says publicity could compromise his clients. I snorted. He told Vanessa he's a financial consultant. Natalie's eyes welled up. I feel so stupid. Don't. He's convincing. But now we can stop him. My phone buzzed with a text from Vanessa. Big news. Moving up wedding to next month? Call me. You've got to be kidding me, I muttered, showing Natalie. He's accelerating because he's worried. He must suspect something. Over the next week, I compiled everything into a detailed timeline. Natalie provided bank statements showing Derek had drained her savings for investment opportunities. I discovered he'd done the same to Vanessa. The dress fitting became my opportunity to search Derek and Vanessa's apartment while they were both out. Zoe stood lookout. Hurry up. Your mom just texted that they finished early. Vanessa's pissed you didn't show. I found Derek's laptop and quickly copied files to a flash drive. Just as I was putting everything back, I heard keys in the door. "Hide!" Zoe hissed through the phone. I ducked into the closet as Vanessa stormed in. Unbelievable! She knew how important today was. "Babe, calm down." Derek's voice. "Maybe something came up. Nothing is more important than my wedding. She's doing this on purpose." I held my breath as Vanessa entered the bedroom, flinging open drawers just feet from where I was hiding. "What are you looking for?" Derek asked. "My planner. We need to call the venue about the date change." 20 excruciating minutes later, they left again. I practically collapsed into Zoe's car. "That was too close," Zoe said. "But worth it. His laptop had everything. Fake resumes, correspondence with both families, even a spreadsheet tracking his lies." The rehearsal dinner was in 3 days. I spent every waking hour organizing the evidence, creating backups, and coordinating with Natalie. "You really think this will work?" Zoe asked as I packaged everything into a sleek silver gift box. "It has to." I tied a perfect bow on top. Vanessa wanted a memorable rehearsal dinner. I'm going to make sure she gets exactly that. The private dining room at Castellano's buzzed with excitement. Mom and Dad beamed at the head table while Vanessa hung on Derek's every word. I clutched my silver gift box, stomach in knots. "You sure about this?" Zoe whispered. "More than anything." Natalie texted, "I'm in position. Back entrance clear." The clink of silverware against glass silenced the room as Dad stood for a toast. "To my beautiful daughter, Vanessa, and her wonderful fiancé, Derek. Your mother and I couldn't be prouder." Everyone raised their glasses. I forced a smile. After dinner, Vanessa announced, "Time for gifts." I watched as they opened monogrammed towels and crystal vases. When only my box remained, Vanessa eyed it suspiciously. "Surprised you brought anything, considering you skipped the dress fitting." "I wouldn't miss this for the world," I replied, placing the box directly in front of Derek. "This one's specially for you, future brother-in-law." Derek smiled uncertainly. "Thanks, Ivory." "Open it," I insisted. "Everyone should see this." He untied the bow and lifted the lid. His face drained of color. "What is it, honey?" Vanessa peered over. I stood up. "It's evidence that your fiancé is engaged to another woman, that he's been lying about his job, his past, and stealing money from both of you." Gasps echoed through the room. Derek lunged for the box, but I was faster. "Here's Derek with his other fiancée, Natalie, 2 weeks ago." I held up the photo. "Here are bank statements showing how he transferred money from both women into offshore accounts." "This is insane," Derek sputtered. "She's making this up." "Am I?" I nodded toward the entrance where Natalie appeared. "Ask her yourself." Vanessa stared at Natalie in shock. "Who are you?" "I'm the woman who's supposedly marrying Derek in December." "That's impossible," Vanessa whispered. "We're getting married next month." "Exactly," I said, distributing copies of my evidence to stunned guests. "He's been playing both of you." Derek bolted for the door but crashed into 2 police officers. "Derek Thompson?" One officer stepped forward. "We have some questions about fraudulent financial activity." Vanessa collapsed into her chair, tears streaming down her face. "How could you—" Mom rushed to comfort her while Dad looked like he might strangle Derek. As the officers led Derek away, Vanessa turned to me, eyes red. "Why didn't you just tell me privately? Why humiliate me like this?" "Like you humiliated me at your engagement party? And every day before that?" I shook my head. "I tried to talk to you. You never listened." 6 months later, Derek was facing fraud charges and restraining orders from both women. Vanessa had moved back home, humbled by the experience. I was packing for a fresh start in Chicago when Vanessa appeared at my door. "I came to apologize." "Save it. I didn't do this for your forgiveness." "Then why?" "Because I deserved better. From him, from you, from all of it." I closed my suitcase. And now I'm giving myself exactly that. As I drove away, I didn't look back. For the first time in my life, I wasn't defined by being Vanessa's sister or anyone's doormat. I was just Ivory, and that was more than enough. Was Ivory justified in publicly exposing Derek at the rehearsal dinner? Or should she have told Vanessa privately first? Would you have handled the revenge differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this revenge story and want to hear more like it, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I post new stories every week about standing up to toxic people. What kind of revenge story would you like to hear next?